Our story begins with an old woman named Barb. Life has been heavy lately. Her husband recently passed away, and she's on a mission to fulfill his final wish. He'd always talked about a specific, secluded lake, and she is determined to scatter his ashes there. But as she's driving, a massive snowstorm rolls in, turning the world into a wall of white. Barb loses her way. She pulls over to check the route, and that's when she hears it, a voice. She follows the sound through the wind and stumbles upon a house. There's a car parked outside, but something is wrong, terribly wrong. There's blood everywhere and a gun sitting right inside the vehicle. Suddenly, a man appears. He's defensive and asks her, "What do you want? Why are you here?" Barb, being the sweet, innocent soul she is, just explains the truth. "I used to come here with my husband. I'm just lost and trying to find the lake." The man points her in the right direction, and when she asks about the blood, he brushes it off, claiming he'd just been out hunting. Barb decides to ignore her gut feeling and pushes on. She eventually reaches Lake Hilda. This was their place, full of memories of the life she and her husband shared. She sits there for a long time, soaking in the silence. Finally, she gets ready to bury his ashes in the frozen ground near the water. But just as she starts, a gunshot rings out. She runs toward the sound and sees a horrifying sight. A man is shooting at a little girl who is desperately trying to run away. Terrified and alone, Barb scrambles back to her Jeep. She checks her phone. No signal. She realizes this man must have kidnapped the child and is holding her at that lone cabin. Barb doesn't leave. She sneaks back to the house and peers through a basement window. There she is, the little girl. But before Barb can act, two cars pull up. A couple enters the house, and Barb overhears their conversation. It turns out the wife, Clara, is the one who ordered her husband, David, to kidnap the girl. It's confirmed. Barb quickly scribbles a note on the window for the girl. "I won't leave you." Then she retreats into the shadows. A moment later, Clara comes out to check on their prisoner. She spots Barb's gloves and that message on the window. She loses it, screaming at David, "What is this? Who was here?" David admits, "An old woman stopped by for directions." Clara realizes immediately that Barb is a witness, a threat that needs to be eliminated. They know she's hiding near the fishing deck. Clara points her gun at the deck while David rushes the door, but Barb is one step ahead. She had hollowed out the ice. David falls straight through into the freezing water. As he's drowning and Clara is scrambling to save him, Barb seizes her chance. She runs to the house to break into the basement, but in the chaos, she trips and tumbles down the stairs herself. She finds the girl, rips the tape off her mouth, and frees her. But they aren't out yet. Barb wants to make sure the couple can't follow, so she goes upstairs, puts out the fire, opens every window to let the sub-zero air in, and soaks all the blankets in water. She's turning the house into an icebox to freeze them out. But as she's finishing, a bullet grazes her hand. Clara is back. Barb runs for her car, but the engine is frozen solid. The pain in her hand is unbearable, so she uses ice to numb the wound. She manages to get back to the fishing deck and finds David's discarded gun. It only has one bullet left. Meanwhile, inside the house, David and Clara are freezing. David is drenched and dying of hypothermia. Clara drags him to the car and tells him they have to finish the mission because she has a surgeon's appointment in the morning. This is the dark heart of the story. Clara is sick and needs a liver transplant. She kidnapped this girl specifically to harvest her liver in secret. She chose this remote spot because it's sterile, and no one would ever find the body. They load the girl into the car, but David realizes he lost his gun. Clara slaps him in a rage. While David goes to the lake to set up the operating table, Barb sneaks back to the car. She finds the girl is gone. They've already taken her to the lake. Barb finds David at the car and smashes the window with a hammer, hitting him in the leg. She holds him at gunpoint. David breaks down, crying. He claims he's being forced by his wife. He tells Barb the girl was chosen because she's attempted suicide before, as if that makes it okay. He says he's done with Clara and just wants to go to the hospital. Barb tells him, "If you're a good man, go to the police first." He hands her a ring she'd dropped and some extra bullets, then drives away. But David doesn't make it far. Clara intercepts him. He begs her to stop, telling her this is all a crime, but Clara is cold as ice. She's even starting to show symptoms of her illness, blood dripping from her nose, but she won't stop. While this is happening, Barb is preparing for a final stand. She looks at an old photo of her and her husband from when she was pregnant, a child they lost. That pain fuels her. She sets her beloved pickup truck on fire, hoping the smoke will signal for help. The smoke actually brings two men to her. Barb tells them everything, but they are suspicious of an old woman holding a gun. They take her weapon and approach the cabin where Clara is waiting. It's a trap! A second man, an accomplice, shoots the two men from behind. In the shootout that follows, Barb hides behind a dashboard, finds another gun, and manages to shoot Clara in the leg. But Clara is relentless. She fires back at a shed where Barb is hiding, causing it to collapse. Barb is knocked unconscious. When Barb wakes up, she's back in that basement tied up with the little girl, Leah. The girl is sobbing, "I don't want to die." To comfort her, Barb tells a story about her own grandfather who survived a blizzard by never stopping, never giving up. "We have to fight," she whispers. They try to escape, but Clara catches them and drags them both to the lake. The operating room is set up. Clara is bleeding out from her leg wound but refuses to stop. She orders Barb to help her with the transplant kit. As Clara prepares to cut into Leah, Barb finds the strength to attack. They struggle, and a lamp is knocked over, setting the entire tent on fire. They spill out onto the ice, fighting for the gun. It goes off, a bullet flying into the lake. Clara realizes she's out of ammo and brutally beats Barb with the butt of the gun until Barb is still. Little Leah, who managed to crawl out of the burning tent, sees the gun on the snow. She picks it up and shoots Clara. In a final, tragic moment, Leah believes Barb is dead. She ties Barb's body to Clara's leg and pushes them both into the frozen lake. But as Barb sinks into the dark water, she isn't quite gone yet. She opens the box of her husband's ashes. As the ashes swirl around her in the water, she finally joins him, taking the evil Clara down into the depths with her. Leah is the only one left. She turns away from the lake and starts the long walk out of the woods, a survivor.